Contest Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am Australian. I was born in Wahroonga on Sydney's North Shore, and my home has been within 10 kilometres of Wahroonga for my entire life. Yet sometimes I don't feel very Australian. I don't like Vegemite. I don't like drinking beer. Oh wait, it gets worse. I don't like watching sport. Very un-Australian. I don't mind playing a bit, don't mind getting on a court and having a bit of a hit of tennis, a bit of backyard cricket, not a problem. I just don't want to watch other people play. But I didn't see why my disdain of spectator sport should adversely affect my son's upbringing. So I decided to bundle up the family and head off to the Homebush Tennis Centre to watch international tennis. I was ready. I had a bag, and in it was a newspaper, a magazine, and a novel. I was not going to be bored. And yet somehow, in the atmosphere of the arena, the cheering, the athleticism and precision of the players, the close calls, the match points, that newspaper, that magazine, that novel never left my bag. I found that I had been unexpectedly entertained. When I was a teenager, I thought musicals were ridiculous. Seriously, how would it be if I was beginning a sentence and then I started to break out into song and prance around the room? You'd think I was crazy, but this is happening in every single musical that you've ever seen. It doesn't make sense. Take The Sound of Music, 2.5 hours of The Sound of Music, take out all the singing and prancing, and you have a 20-minute story at best. How ridiculous. Except one day, I decided to be the dutiful husband and sit down with my wife who wanted to watch The Sound of Music again. And I thought, okay, I'll sit there and I'll be good. But interestingly, when I actually did watch it, I laughed in all the funny spots. I cried in all the bits I was meant to cry in. I enjoyed the music. And I suppose since I've watched it about a dozen times since, I would say that I was unexpectedly entertained. My wife loves the ballet. Well, I've seen the ballet. I've seen it on television. I've watched 2 minutes of it on television and I'm bored out of my brain. I mean, how many different ways can a dancer pirouette around the stage? And the idea of going and watching a 2.5 hour performance live, I thought, I'm going to have trouble staying awake. But my wife loves the ballet, so away I went. In the atmosphere of that beautiful Sydney Opera House, with a live orchestra playing, having read the synopsis and understood the story, and I'll tell you what, we talk about athletes in sport, but that's nothing compared to the athleticism of the dancers in ballet. I've never seen anything like it. We had seats 4 rows from the front. You could see the sweat on their brow. You could see the muscles tense. You could see everything. Having understood the story and listened to all the music, I was enthralled. I was emotionally moved. And certainly, I was unexpectedly entertained. Next month, we're going to the opera for the first time. I know what to expect. I've seen it on television. It's ridiculous. Well, first of all, it's nearly always in a foreign language. And they sing with such emotion and such, it's over the top. There was one thing I was watching on television and you'd think, They were singing about some life and death situation. It was so intense. They looked at the subtitles and said, "Would you please pass the butter?" But that's how they sing opera. It's ridiculous. But we're going in a month's time. I think by now there's a reasonably good chance that, all things considered, I might just be unexpectedly entertained.